friends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside.
Welcome back to The Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. It's your business to make sure your business succeeds in every sense of that word, and to help you in that effort every Wednesday, I bring in my very good friend, Walter Rogers, to help us navigate through that process. He is with BakerCommunications.com, and it is a international company that helps companies of all sizes achieve sales success. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing outstanding, Kevin. How are you today?
Doing great. So what do you got for us today, my friend?
Well, first of all, let me just say we've got a very special guest on air with us. His name is Peter Ostro, and he's the Director of Sales Research for Aberdeen. And say hello to Peter.
Welcome, Peter. Glad to have you on.
Nice to be here, Keith.
Kevin. Okay, so let's just jump right in. Why don't you jump right in with your questions, and I'll get caught up with you there, Walter.
Yeah, you bet. So, last week we kicked off the next set of shows all around the best practices of effective sales professionals. And this is the first show that we're going to drill into the first nugget, which is focusing on how you can help instead of what can I sell, right? It's a really big difference between those two perceptions. And Kevin and Peter, let me ask you guys, what do you think, besides, of course, this radio station, what do you think your sales rep's typical favorite radio station is?
I would say that it would be different for each sales rep.
Yeah, well, but overall, it's called WIIFM. Which is what's in it for me.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, which is not necessarily in concert with what a customer has in mind, right? A customer is really focused on his own set of issues and concerns versus what a sales rep is interested in selling. And customers really can feel that difference. If you go into a sales call and all you care about is what you're going to sell versus what it is that you're going to be trying to help that customer resolve and really getting underneath that customer's pains and issues and concerns, it just has a huge impact on the dynamics of that conversation. And Peter, I don't know if you want to comment on that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Walter. I would say, by the way, that here in Boston, whatever station is playing the Celtics game is the one that our sales reps are listening to night today.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
I couldn't agree more, Walter. I mean, at the end of the day, especially in a B2B environment, which comprises a lot of the research that I do, folks are buying something potentially from the individual who is going to be their caretaker and their trusted advisor. And if they smell or sniff anything in the sales process leading up to that relationship when they become an account manager, immediately the potential to lose trust and to have even some disdain for the way that communication is being presented definitely figures in, and I think can create damage to the relationship even before it begins.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I do want to say as an aside that radio is a great place to find potential clients, by the way, especially if you're in our field of radio sales, just FYI. But I think it probably translates in everything. But that is the bottom line. The bottom line is what is in it for the person that's buying, and that's the message you got to reach.
Yeah, and going into these meetings, these customer interactions with the attitude that really you may come out of that meeting with an outcome that you'll be able to help that customer, that prospect that has no personal impact on you, is the right attitude to go into these meetings with. And, a lot of times you'll find that you'll be helping your customers in ways that really don't involve you or your solution, right? I used to be in the natural gas business or providing services to that business, and oftentimes we would just simply put people together that had common interests, people that wanted to put pipelines and link them up, et cetera. And there was no personal gain to us whatsoever, but it built tremendous relationship with those folks. Now, Peter, do you have any stats? And I don't want to put you on the spot here, but I know you guys do a lot of analytical work. Do you have any stats that you can share in terms of the effectiveness of sales organization that really have this customer-centered interaction focus?
Sure, absolutely. We've done some studies around sales training, and we know that one of the top capabilities that the top-performing sales organizations execute in terms of maximizing their own sales effectiveness is all about sort of the idea of solution or value or need-based selling. What's in it for me is a very adequate and I think comprehensive description of the way not to sell, and the idea of a sales rep using his or her ears more than their mouth clearly has a lot of value, and we see that top-performing sales companies where they hit their number more frequently, where they shrink their sales cycle, where they increase the average selling price, customer retention stays up, and revenue goes up, are associated with that sort of need-based type of selling. There's another study we recently published on the sort of 360-degree view of the customer, a little bit technology-focused, but it's how does an organization create the ability to look at its customer/prospect with one view. There's probably a lot of situations where many of us have worked for an organization where perhaps one of our sales representatives was trying to get some business out of company X, but at the same time, one of our accounts receivable folks was trying to get them to pay an overdue bill. That's not really speaking to a customer with one voice. We know that from our research, the top-performing companies' number one strategy that they use to try to create a better view of the customer is new means of communicating with the customer. We see the top-performing companies something like 35% more frequently than the bottom-performing companies seeking out new ways of communication. And that means not just always by phone or always by email, but thinking about some of the new age, such as social media tools, blogs, posts, tweets, and all those things. People wonder whether they have value for business. Our research tells you that it definitely can.
I think that's great. And, one of the things that's phenomenal, of course, about some of the social networking sites is that it gives you a depth or a level of relationship that some traditional approaches simply don't allow you to have. We got to wrap up, Walter. How do people get in touch with our guest today?
Peter, why don't you tell them how to get in touch with Aberdeen?
It's just like the city in Scotland, Aberdeen.com.
Aberdeen.com. People need to find out, get more information about the great work that's being done there. Walter, as always, a great guest, great opportunity for us to do some probing here. I want to encourage people to learn more about Baker Communications, the great content, the great articles that are being built there at HoustonBusinessDaily.com, our sister website. I call it a book in the making. If you're missing it, you're missing something huge. And you can learn more about them at BakerCommunications.com. The phone number, my friend.
713-627-7700. That's 713-627-7700.
Hey, I got you pretty well trained. That's good stuff. Walter Rogers, good stuff. Thank you very much. We're looking forward to continuing down this trail at achieving great sales success thanks to your advice here on The Price of Business. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Kevin. And next week, we're going to have the number one sales rep out of an organization of 20,000 sales reps. So make sure you tune in and listen to the nuggets he's going to share.
Can you tell us the name of that organization?
AutoNation.
Wow. That's impressive. Yeah, we're going to have to blow the horn big time on that one. Walter Rogers with a great guest with Peter coming in on today. And this is The Price of Business, and you're listening to CNN 650.